A great team, and we did over 1,400 new policies this year. And next year, we have a choice to make. Are we going to grow and expand, move to a bigger office and hire more people? Or are we going to remain a small, tight-knit, fun group of people who can take off in the middle of the day and go see Star Wars together because we're such a small small kind of a startup feel to our company? I've really enjoyed having a small company. Our employees are awesome, and they're picked with a lot of scrutiny to first come in here in the first place to see if they can work together as a team. And now that we have a great group of people. So this is my decision point coming into 2018. What are we going to do? Are we going to grow big and actually spend money on marketing, or are we going to keep it level and everything the same? So that's a decision I'm going to be facing here soon. But it has been an awesome, awesome year. I got to meet my second client in person. Look, see, I took a picture. It's my second client that I've actually seen face to face since we've been in South Carolina in 4 years. And that was pretty neat. He just happened to be passing through the area, and he wanted some life insurance. We got him to sign the application while he's passing through for him and his wife. That's really awesome. But a lot's changed over the last year. We've had carriers enter the market. We've had old carriers turn good again. And we've had some smaller carriers fall off the wayside. And by that, I mean super big double-digit rate increases. And we've turned off the spigot of writing some of those smaller carriers that we once stood by as they were small and aggressive with their rates and very helpful to the agents. And that is no more. And that brings me to my point. Things are always changing in our industry. I had somebody write me a support ticket the other day that said, Company X you talked about 3 years ago in a video was doing really good. How come you never mention them these days? And that's because we're not selling them. Things have changed. So I think it's more important than ever to stay on top of who's writing what. And you have to really be in this business not alone, but with other people. You have to share ideas and, hey, what did you find about this company and that company? There's a new discussion on our discussion forum about a company that's messing agents up on commissions routinely, systematically, not paying commissions like they're supposed to. And if you don't have a discussion group like that to go find out who not to get in bed with as a company, what are you going to do? Just turn on to your own understanding of experience, which is only going to come after pain of getting screwed over potentially by a company like that. So it's good to keep those doors of communication open. I know I like to listen to agents' experiences, and I see them all the time. Over 2,800 agents are from time to time sending in their experiences with companies. This year, we had the best annual election period ever. Why? Because the companies, for the most part, except for one, and there's always one, but most of the companies, especially the big ones that we've been writing, they all stepped up and they staffed up. They moved people from contracting and licensing, put that on hold, and put them into new business and underwriting. We really appreciate that. We had a great experience this year with Aetna, Cigna, Mutual of Omaha, GPM, of course, under Mutual. Just a fantastic experience with these companies. And now we're moving into 2018. It's the time to reflect back, take stock of what we've accomplished over the last year, go on a few trips and rub shoulders with some top producers again, and we start doing in February. We'll be going on 5 trips this year. Most of them are in the United States and then Canada with the Cigna trip. So last year it seemed like we were in Europe a lot. This year we'll be staying in the States, which is okay by me because we have to leave our kids behind every time and dogs. And going to a foreign country just doesn't always seem to be in the cards as far as that extra travel time to and fro. So it'll be nice to stay in this continent for once. But over the next year, we all have decisions to make. Are we going to keep doing things the way that we did, where it's comfortable? Or are we going to step out? Are we going to step out in faith and do something that we've never done before and grow to the level that is uncomfortable? Step out of what's been the norm. And in most cases with the agents I'm talking to, it's agents working on their own, working by themselves. In many cases, it's agents working on the road, driving behind that windshield, driving 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 hours to go into an area where they're going to then start knocking on doors. My first instinct is to get me what got me here, and that is to step out of your comfort zone. Expand to the point that it's barely uncomfortable. Manage the growth, sometimes as an afterthought because you're growing so fast. You're putting more energy and resources into people, which I found are the most important part of the business. You know, so many agents, and I just have to cover this. I was listening to an interview last night with Tony Robbins on a podcast, and this interviewer kept asking him, yeah, but Tony, how do you do this specifically? And how do you do this? And how do you do that in your business? And it's really working down into the finite details. And Tony rightly said, you know, it's not really about how. How is a function of the brain that says, let me break it down into a step-by-step, paint by numbers, scripted out, every conversation thing to do. And that really won't get you there. Like somebody who is a complete imbecile, who doesn't have any communication skills whatsoever, using the best script from the very best producer out there will still get mediocre at best results. Why? Because it's more than just the how. It's more than how to fill out an application. It's more than how to explain Medicare, because it's always the same. It's the mindset that got me where I am today. It's the mindset that got Tony where he is with 5,000 employees. And to be able to grow as big as you want to get, it all starts in the mind, making it a decision before you even start the how. The decision is, I'm going to make it work no matter what it takes to get there. And once you've made that decision, then the how starts filling in the blanks on its own. You start networking and reaching out to people who are like-minded in a similar industry as you, and you start finding out the how a little at a time. And sometimes it's never been written before. It's not in a manual. You're not going to find it in an underwriting guide or on my website or anywhere else. It's the thing that the entrepreneur has to do on the fly, and that's called fake it till you make it. Practice it till you perfect it. Figure it out right now and fix it later, but get the thing done right now. Sometimes that's the critical part that separates the entrepreneur from the person who says, hey, honey, I'm going to go start an insurance career now, and I'm going to make $1 million a year. Really? How committed are you? And my challenge to you is this. If you are having any kind of a struggle in your business, if you're having a struggle with motivation and you're not trying to set the world on fire, you're just trying to figure out how to get up and going in the morning and how to get moving towards your business. The people that I've found that are the most successful in this industry, and I've rubbed shoulders with a lot of millionaires in this industry doing this very niche thing that we're doing right now. And I think a lot of that does rub off the more time you spend with those people on things like top producer trips. What I found is that people who start off with their insurance license and they're going for this niche that we're in right now, those people who treat it as if they just mortgaged their house, they took out a 30-year loan, they borrowed from every relative that they could put their hands on to borrow money for their business venture, and then they went out and let's say they bought a McDonald's franchise. They're mortgaged to the hilt. They're borrowed up to their backside. They can't do anything else except go in and now put in the labor necessary to uphold breaking even until the time that 3 years from now they're going to be making a profit. They've got to hire, they've got to fire, they've got to train, they've got to install new equipment, learn how to use new equipment, learn how to deliver the product to the end consumer, make everybody happy, always look at corporate, make sure you're doing all the advertisements that are compliant with corporate, all the things that a franchise owner has to do and stays up late at night having to study to do, to maintain their craft, to get it all done where it's never been done by them before. Knowing full well that failure is not an option. The company won't let you fail. You have to make that commitment ahead of time. All your neighbors, your friends, your family, the bank, everybody is counting on you to make this franchise work. It's that kind of pressure that you've got to burn the bridge behind you. I can't go back to my old job. I can't go back to what I was doing before. I've got to go all in. It's those people and it's that attitude that I found from the guys who are 22 running a call center to the guys that are 65 running a call center that are making this thing happen. It's that attitude of being the exact opposite of what I see many agents do, which is tell me, oh, my wife's a nurse, my wife's a school teacher, my wife's a doctor, it's okay, I'm just going to try this a little bit. I got my insurance license, only cost me a couple $100. I spent 20 or 40 hours in an insurance class. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, I'm just falling back on my wife there. She's going to take care of me. Those are the guys that are going to fail. I can tell you right now they're going to fail because they're not, as Les Brown says, hungry. They're not hungry enough. They don't have a deep enough dedication to why. And it's not just this avenue, it's any of them. Any of them. Life insurance, mortgage protection term, variable universal life, whatever you want to sell. If your why is not good enough to get your butt out of bed every morning and to do what it takes until it gets done, again, having burned every bridge behind you, you can't go back. You must make this work because your family depends on you. If you don't own that, you might as well quit now. I'm speaking to many agents out there who are watching the channel, who've been subscribing to the site, who are thinking, I wonder if I can make it work in insurance. Well, as I've said, the concept is proven. It's not a proof of concept question as to whether or not you can make money helping people, putting them in a better position by doing it over the phone, doing it at scale. That's not a question. The only question is, are you up for the task? Are you up for the challenge? Have you burned your bridge behind you? Are you going all in? Look, I started this thing part-time. I started it part-time when I was leaving the sheriff's department, and I needed something better to do to take care of my family. But I quickly realized that my limit at the sheriff's department was $58,000 a year as a top limit to being a lieutenant. That was my promotion, to go from sergeant to lieutenant. My top promotion was going to be $58,000 a year. What are you going to do? You're going to fight for that position where you're capped out at $58,000 a year? At the time, I was selling final expense on my days off, making $1,000 a day doing final expense. So I knew there was something to it. And when you finally give up what's behind you, you burn the bridge and you say, I'm not going back. I can only go positive from here. So I started full-time final expense. And then I learned about residual income. I went part-time into Medicare supplements, still doing full-time final expense. And when I went all forward with Medicare supplements, knowing that I'm building something long-term, building a residual income for my family, so that I could put in the work now so I didn't have to put in as much work later, it started to pay off. It started to pay off in a big way. Then I discovered, as the years went by, other people start selling Medicare over the phone. When I started 10 years ago, they said it can't be done. There was one guy, Richard, that I was put in touch with by an FMO who they said there's one guy selling over the phone. And that guy spent an hour with me on the phone, not telling me how. He didn't answer the question of how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you do it? He simply gave me the vision that it can be done. Yes, it can be done. And if I figured out if somebody else can make it work, I can struggle through it enough to make it work. And I started mailing out packets to people. I was first marketing in Michigan using Main Street Power Mail, direct mail. And the people in Michigan got lots of cards from me. And some of them were interested in saving money on Medicare. And I had conversations with them. And I mailed them out packets through the mail. And it just went better and better and better from there. Because I had no choice. I burned the bridge behind me. I couldn't go back to everybody I used to work with. Now I'm an insurance guy. And back in the time, they're like, oh, you're a dirtbag. You're just an insurer. You're a salesman? How do you go from being a cop to being a salesman? Oh, that's awful. Well, look at me now. It's a lot better than then, I can tell you. Gosh. To look back on all those Christmases that I had to spend. And that's when the suicidal and the crazy, crazy people came out too. But nobody wanted to work Christmas Day, so I'll work it. The shift supervisor with all the crazy going on that whole side of the county. And who do they look to make the decisions as to what to do about it? That was me. While my family's at home opening presents by themselves. It sucked. It really did. But I needed the overtime. It's the only way to work it. So when I burned the bridge, went all in, that's when things began to change. When I started to scale up, stepped out of my comfort zone of doing it by myself, and I got an assistant, Rick, at the time, it started to get easier. It started to get faster. Acquiring new clients started to happen faster and faster. Then I got a secretary to answer the phones when people would call back and schedule things with people. Then I got another assistant to help me screen more people. And so wherever you are in your business, I'll just make this challenge to you. If you're not all in, really make the decision as you're going into 2018. If you're going to try, keep kicking the can down the road, telling your relatives that you're an insurance agent when you really have not burned all the bridges and done this full time. Again, the concept is not unshakable. The concept is not unproven, is what I'm trying to say. The only thing that's unproven is the people who are stepping up to bat. If you come fully prepared and you're ready to go, no matter what obstacle you're going to face, because guess what? You are going to face obstacles. You're not going to have all the answers. Not anybody you talk to is going to have all the answers, but we push through as best we can. We help people, where it's appropriate, and we spend less and less time with the people that we can't help, not because we're rude, but because it's the best use of our time and theirs for us not to sit and have a, unproductive conversation all day. So I challenge you, hang with us during the journey of 2018, but only do so if you're fully committed to doing this thing. And I mean seriously fully committed. If you're just dabbling in, now's the time to say sayonara, it was good knowing you, and go somewhere else. Because the people who are barely touching this stuff are the people who are filling up my inbox with stupid questions because the thing's been put out there 1,500 times on the website and they don't bother to check. Why? Because they're part-time. They're just dabbling, and every once in a while I run across somebody. So let me ask you about height and weight. Is there a different rate for smoker? What is Part G of Medicare? I'm not going to have time for that crap this year. So I'm not going to be working with people who are not really serious about it. I'm going to limit down, pare down like they do, prune back a tree to go with healthier folks that are really seriously committed. So if that's you, man, I look forward to helping you in any way I can. I hope you get some help and advice and some inspiration, if nothing else, from these videos, which we'll be doing this year coming forward in 2018. But if you've been part-time, you've been lollygagging around, you've been hanging around barely and not doing anything with your license and just saying, well, let me look at this website for a second. Oh, I can't find everything I need in one easy, laid out how-to, then just leave now. Just leave and save us both a lot of time and trouble, because you're not an entrepreneur, you're an employee, and you need to go out and get one of those $15 an hour jobs that was just made available by the new tax plan and be happy doing that. There are plenty of people that are going to be very happy doing that set thing where you come in and you punch in and you punch out. That is great and is very good for the vast majority of people in the country, and I'm glad for them. But I'm going to spend my time helping the business development side of the entrepreneur. I want to share time with those people. My brain comes alive when I'm in a room full of smart people where people are exchanging ideas, talking about prospecting and process and things like these top producer trips coming up. That's why I'm looking forward to them. I'm not so much looking forward to going to these fancy places. I'm more looking forward to the kinship, the relationships built by people who are in the same struggle that I'm in. And this year, on any live events that we are going to do together for our members like we did last year, I'm hoping that we'll have more time set aside that we share stories, share experiences, and share insights so we can all learn from each other as to what we've had to go through. Because it can be a lonely existence. If it's just you, maybe you and your small team against the whole world. But you're not alone. There are a lot of us who are doing this and have been doing it successfully and want to share things that have helped other people. We want to share those things to help other agents. But anyway, that's just a little bit of ending 2017 here as we get into 2018. I'm very, very thankful for where we've come. I'm hoping to get closer to the people who are aligned with me. Like for Cigna, I think we were number 7 as an agency. From all the agencies in the United States, they just see my name up there on the billboard of the top producers. And I think that is a direct reflection on the close-knit group of members that have been a part of Medicare agent training. And I hear from them all the time with their good stuff and their bad stuff, and I really enjoy that part of my business. Now, I've got 2 businesses, 3. 2 businesses. One is helping the seniors. One is doing Medicare agent training where I interact with other agents that are of like mind. And then I've got trained telemarketers that I'm a partner in, and we help equip agents who are looking for prospects and looking for who to help. And all of those are helping people. So I love that kind of business. But anyway, I wish you the best for 2018 as we wrap up 2017. I hope, if you haven't already, have a wonderful Christmas season and a happy, happy New Year. We've got some exciting things planned for 2018 for those who are going to push through and come through the other side. But I just want to encourage you, go all in. Burn your bridges behind you like there's nowhere else you can go. There's no other choice except to make this work. And I promise you'll see results like you've never thought possible before. Have a great day. Bye-bye.